welcome back to the Nerdium. It's me, E.T. It's been so long since I have actually seen you, about a year now, and a lot has happened over that year, and still no GTA 6, so we'll get to that. But I'm so happy to be back, to be with you all, to cover everything, y'all to get to know more of the up-and-coming people in the nerd scene from Chicago. Check in with me, how I've been doing, how you guys have been doing. Hope you all have been well. We're coming out of that winter funk as of now. Better weather. I hope everybody's ready to be outside all summer. Today's show, haven't said that in so long, I'm just a little bit rusty now. On today's show, we are going to just be catching up, talking to each other, having fun, and not even a surprise guest anymore, but a family friend to the show. Maurice is going to be back, telling us what's going to be happening with the Nerdium, what's been happening behind the scenes that you guys just haven't seen. And B-Side, our beautiful production company that makes the Nerdium possible, we'll be deep diving into absolutely all of that. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you're right back here. I'm E.T. and welcome back to your favorite playground, Nerdium. Good.
Yeah, it just, I would never forget tonight. Erica was there that night too.
Yeah.
Cassie Jackson. And that guy who can't sing, who embarrassed the hell out of me that night. But anyway, girl, if I ever see him, I'm going to slap the TT out of him. I thought that boy could sing. He couldn't sing nothing. Can't even sing in the shower. Girl. Ooh. But anyway, my point is, if you're upset with somebody, you laugh out, you know that boy can't sing. I was doing a comedy show with one of my sister comedians, Lady Lunch Bell, and it was her birthday. And I said, girl, I got somebody that can sing to you. That boy got up there. Man, you talking about somebody embarrassed. My sister came to me, she said, don't you ever have nobody sing for me no more on my birthday. I said, girl, I thought the boy could sing. He got up there, he act like he know the words of happy birthday. I said, mother. But anyway, yeah, I ain't forgot that.
Oh my God.
He owed me a contract.
She gonna say, she gonna call me and say, Alice, when I see you, I'm gonna whoop you.
I did. I was mad at you. I thought this boy could sing. I mean, we was at a packed comedy show. It was at U.S. Bank. At that time, my manager was Taz.
Oh my God.
Taz even looked at me upside my head. He said, T-Buzzer, who is this? I said, I don't, nobody. I just met him tonight. I'm up there lying. I just met him tonight. I don't. Embarrassed the hell out of me. Boy, I was so damn mad at that damn boy. Coming there with a woman old as me. He was like 23. She was like 63. I said, oh, you bought your mother? He said, no, that's my girlfriend. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. But I know one thing. When last time you talked to that fool?
I haven't talked to him in years. It's been years. Oh my God.
CJ, this boy could not sing. Boy, CJ, you would have stolen on him. I'm telling you. He up there put his profile. God. You know, profile looking like this. I'm thinking he's gonna get up there and, sound good, do some Chris Brown or Teddy Pendergrass. That boy up there.
Girl, stop. Oh my God. That was funny though.
Yeah,
that was funny.
It was funny, embarrassing.
And welcome back to the Nerdium. I'm so happy you all came back to kick it with us for the rest of the show. And I have our special guest here. Maurice, what's been going on?
E.T., what is happening? Miss Tompkins, how are you?
It has been forever and a year. What's been going on with you?
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you. Thank you for coming back.
Nope.
Above everything and all.
Absolutely.
As you know, this is probably like my favorite show that we put together.
Absolutely.
I have one that I always look forward to. you know I love everyone in the B-side universe, obviously. But this one is just so special because I can really dig deep into like my inner nerdum with this one. That that inner kid in me, and be able to like it's like a playground when we come here. So it's awesome being able to come back to the Nerdium, and I'm just really happy to have you back. It's been.
Hey guys, I'm very sorry to interrupt you. I just noticed one thing. The angle of your mic, Maurice.
Okay.
Can you put it a little directly towards your
Absolutely.
mouth?
Absolutely. 1 second.
Because I saw that as you were shifting, I realized you were softer because of the direction of the mic.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it was on as secure as it should have been on.
There we go. That's way better.
That's way better?
Great. Okay.
Perfect. All right. And I'll try not to shift too much not to mess it up. All right. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Perfect. You got a little wiggle room now, so it's okay. Great. So listen, we're still recording.
Okay. Let's get back into it.
Yeah. Just go for it.
Okay.
I'll start back on Liz, and you can just want to start again.
Yeah.
Take it from the
Okay,
top.
perfect.
From the top.
We just continue.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can always clean this up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. So I'm really glad that you were able to come back, and bring the show back and everything.
I was excited when you was just like, it's time to get back in this. I'm like, hell yeah, finally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that break, I feel like mental health, getting other things together outside of just the show and kind of putting us back in like the right mental space to do it. And I feel like more so that's where I was. But what were you doing during that break?
So I'm really glad that you brought that question to me, and I want to use this platform and take the time to be able to be very candid about what all was happening and what happened at B-Side in 2024.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna rewind the clock back, and we're gonna go back to the summer of 2023, actually. So what happened was that as many artists like yourself and myself, like we were talking about even before the cameras came on, before the show started, we have our regular 9-to-5 jobs. It's what helps pay the bills. It's what supplements our artistry. What allows us to go to the doctor. Things of that nature and everything. Take care of our kids, all that good stuff, all of our adult responsibilities. And unfortunately, June 1st, 2023, the company that I worked for, it's a company that's based in Brazil. They shut down the entire U.S. operations. And so, of course, there was a layoff that happened with myself and my team members here in Chicago, in Cleveland, in New York, and in Florida. So so that entire summer, was pretty much on the hunt. I'm on the hunt looking for a replacement for that. And the thing is that B-side's always my first love. That's my first love above everything. But that layoff kind of came out of nowhere. So I wasn't truly mentally prepared for that. You know what I mean? I wasn't really I just wasn't in like a mind space where I was like ready for that shift, because it really came out of nowhere. So my priority came to, okay, I need to find a replacement like immediately, so this way I can keep this vehicle going. And so after some time, I was able to find a replacement to working with Loyola University, and that. Good
job on that too. That's not easy to bounce back from. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
So good shit.
Thank you. And that happened in October of that year, 2023.
Okay.
So as obviously when you get into a new role, it takes time to be able to acclimate yourself, with everything, and to get used to the little nuances and get your daily routine going, be able to establish your relationships with your clientele, things of that nature. And since it's a university I'm working with, and since this position was relatively new, about a good, I would say, 4 to 5 months into the position, I saw what was coming in terms of like the end of the school year, with it being like commencement, graduation, the end of the year celebrations, because my position focuses on event management. I have to manage the events that take place on campus. So I saw this tidal wave of what was to come when it came to the end of the school year. And because the job itself already was heavy enough in terms of like managing these events, getting acclimated to this new role, and also at the same time being able to still manage what was going on with B-side, it got to a point, and I'm going to be honest, it got to a point where almost B-side was almost taking the back seat in a way, and in a way it sort of started to knock on the door of a grind. And I always told myself, especially if it's something that you love so much, something that is near and dear to your heart, becomes a grind, then I have to dial it back, because I never want to look at this as like a chore. I always want to approach this with nothing but joy and passion. And I personally allowed the job itself to sort of like kind of cast this cloud over what I loved. And so I had a moment where I kind of like caught myself slipping. And I kind of, and I'm just being completely vulnerable and transparent with you, I kind of allowed it to happen because I was putting like, you know, like just like that work ahead of everything else. Granted, I understand the importance, and I'm not taking away the importance of the 9 to 5, obviously, but I was allowing it to overshadow what my love was, because I was so laser focused on making sure that what I was doing during the day on campus was, you know, to a T. But because I sort of not recognize the importance of balance between the two, I allowed it to overcast B-side. And because of that, that's why I was like, all right, I need time for myself to be able to kind of figure out where my head is at right now. Because where my head is at right now is not conducive to the brand. And I felt that I wasn't giving you, Chrissy, Jessica, T Bizzle, John, Angel, I wasn't giving you all my all that I should have been giving you all. And that was unfair. That was unfair to you guys, to all the creators. And so because of that, I was like, let me take a few steps backwards. Let me do some reevaluation with myself.
Gotcha.
Where my head was at, really see what truly was important, what truly was, what should take precedence as well. And then I'm going to move forward in the right way, but I have to be strategic this time. So that's why I had to make that sad announcement last spring in 2024 saying that B-Side's going to go on pause for a while. I need to get some things together with myself. I need to find some balance, and we're going to take a break. Now, the break, to be real with you, Liz, originally my idea was for the break to be over with sometime midsummer, to be honest with you. I was like, I just need a few months, maybe like 2-3 months of just going on pause, and we'll be back rocking and rolling midsummer. But I just wasn't ready yet.
It just didn't work out that way. So, and to kind of cut in here, I could tell back in that point of 2023, because I remember before we made it to season 2, and we did that last big show where we had the dance team and we had performances. It was a lot, and I could see it because me and you both, at some point during that show, me and you kind of just locked eyes and we could both see it. It was so much happening, which is one of my favorite episodes too.
It was
so great. The dance team, the performances, the interviews. It was like 4 interviews in one show. It had made it to so much that after that show, I was like, I need to woosah a little bit. That was so much. And it's funny to think because, I mean, that's what we signed up for.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
want to do. But once you're doing it, you're realizing like this is coming all at once so fast.
Yeah.
You're back there. We're micing up 5 different people at once. We couldn't find a mic. We're running. It turns into a lot. So when you was just like, when you made that post about us taking a break, I was like, he almost read my mind. I needed a break, and taking us back to, because I feel like I didn't know all that was happening with you.
Yeah.
You keep it together really well. About that exact same time, about summer 2023, it was so much going on, and Matt, he's a friend of the show too. Everybody has seen him a bunch of times.
Oh, man. Yes.
That's my husband too.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all knew that too. Positive. Me and him were going through so much, and being as candid as I can possibly be.
Sure.
Our living situation was real rocky at that time.
Okay, understood.
And finding jobs and figuring out everything, and then me coming here, and I was just like, I don't want that to bleed through to everybody that's watching, and that's hard to do, and that's why I kind of being more open and honest, and people actually getting to know Liz. All of this is me, but there's deeper levels to it. And at that time, I had just started a new job. We had just moved into a new place. Moving is one of the worst things you can do as an adult.
Yes.
And it was the most taxing thing that we ever did. So when about November of 2023, that's when we kept pushing the show back and rescheduling. And I was just like, I don't want to keep pushing back something I know that I want to do, and I love doing this, but it felt like an extra thing, and I don't want it to feel like it's something extra I have to do on top of all of the other shit that I need to do.
Right.
I didn't want this to turn into another part of the shit that I have to do.
Right.
And I was just like, I need to take a break. Yeah. And so when we was gone for that year, developing a sense of stability and knowing the direction, even starting to write more again, because I took a long break from writing in general because it started to feel like a job versus something I love to do.
Yeah.
So I just took a break from it. So hearing you say that, I feel like Maurice, me and you be like this all the time on a lot of things that's like creative, and I follow you. And so we kind of got the background of what happened before. What else have you been into or been learning along the way?
Sure, absolutely. And I'm very glad that you said what you said right now in terms of just us being in sync when it comes to that. And this is my first time, actually, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first time hearing this. So hearing you say that, it's very refreshing because you're not the only one as well too. Yeah. Because even just the best with Sipping and Tripping, around that exact same time when I was making the announcement that we were going on pause, she actually was hitting me up asking me, hey, can we do the show instead of twice a month? Can we do it just once a month? Because I have this, that, and the third going on. I'm like, well, actually, I got some news for you. You can take as much time as you want because I think that we all kind of a lot of us got to that point where we all needed that because you're right. You know, and as I've been doing these B-side rewinds, I'm looking at 2022, 2023. I mean, we were just going full go with B-side Pro.
All the time.
We were just knocking.
It was a show every month, and I'm just like, I'm doing this once a month, but you're here how many times a month?
Right.
So I'm just like, and the Nerdium got real elaborate to a point.
Yeah.
It turns into a lot in here.
And you're right. With that one show, especially, you know, when we had the dance team, we had we had the band, we had a number of guests. Like that was a mega show. But around that time, we were clicking crazy, you know. And the thing is, though, is that like, what's really important is that we're able to recapture that. And I really believe we can. We're able to recapture that, but now we understand the structure and the importance of balance. And that's what we're talking about right now. You know, so to answer your question, during this time away, my thing was like, when we get back into the swing of things, I want us to be in a much better position where we're able to work smarter and not harder.
Got you.
And especially with myself as well too, when it comes to, okay, how can we, now that we know what to do, we know we have the tools to be able to make these things work and really be able to put out a very unique product. But how can we elevate this to get to another level with this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where we can actually, you know, where we actually can see some ROI, some efficient ROI with everyone involved with this. So I wanted to make sure that I was in a position where I could be a better producer. Mm-hmm. So I looked into, like, you know, I kind of like made a plan for myself. Long story short, I was able to obtain my PMP certification. What that is, it's a project management certification. So this way I can understand how to be able to really structure projects in a much more conducive way, much more traditional way, and have like some very like, just have some what word am I looking for? Just like, you know, just like those benchmarks to hit when we are, you know, when we're putting these events together, when we are putting together the programs, the live events as well too, and also like what we can do forward as well too. So I worked on my PMP. I worked on another certification to understand AI a little bit better, and right now I'm working on my data analytics certification because I want to marry these three areas so I can apply these to B-side. Because if we are going to be going to a different level, I want us to be ready. And I think that us being able to really be able to ingratiate ourselves into areas such as like tech, also to areas of community service, being able to community involvement as well too. I want us to be ready and be in those spaces. And to be in those spaces, you know, you have to be ready to be in those spaces, to be in those trenches. And that was my whole thing, was that I wanted to make sure I was well equipped as a producer to be able to be the right type of producer for you all. Because it's one thing to say you are, you know, say you are one, but it's another to actually be able to display it and be able to demonstrate those qualities.
True. I mean, I've always thought you was a pretty good producer in the first place. So to kind of know that you're kind of putting those skills and making sure they're like honed into one good spot so you can kind of do all of it. And I feel that too. I felt like I would do way too much. Just like I'm supposed to be, you guys as hosts, supposed to be here doing the interviews. I would be running this way and that way and doing everything. And I'm like, I need to actually focus on what I'm supposed to be doing, because there's some episodes I look at like I can tell my mind is a million miles away and not on what I'm supposed to be doing. But it did make it to a point where it was me and you just doing everything. It was you all backstage, me all up here. And that's why I'm just like 10 out of 10 always from the production side. So yeah, I can kind of see that. That's good. Nice.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the compliment too as well. I really appreciate that. And the way how I just operate, things can always be better in my mind. You know, things can always be better, a little bit better. You know, it's like, okay, that's great, but it could be a little bit better. And that's that's what I am seeing now with this relaunch. This relaunch, there is so much, Liz, there is so much positive upswing with what's going to be coming about with all what we're doing. It's going to be fantastic. So I'm gonna be real. So these are things that I've not really gone into detail with you right now. So you're about to hear some stuff right now for the very first time.
Oh God. Okay. Let's hear it.
So yeah. So as I was saying earlier, I want us to be more ingratiated when it comes to like community involvement.
Gotcha.
I feel our presence in the digital space is relatively strong, and it's going to be even stronger as well. And I think to be able to capitalize on that and to even maximize that type of real estate, we as a collective need to be much more present in the physical space as well too.
Gotcha.
So what I'm saying though is that like I want. And obviously you and I will talk about this more in detail, But I want there to be like, for example, I want us to be able to have like, like programs or even small events where, for example, we're talking about the Nerdium here, right? Let's say we're hosting an event, maybe at a library or some community center or whatever may have you, and we have a guest speaker coming in who's really an expert in coding. And we invite families to come in, bring your kids, bring your nieces, your children, your neighbors, or whatever may have you, because so these kids, these young people can learn about coding. The Nerdium brings you coding for kids or something like that. Maybe a little
nice.
hour and a half program where kids can learn about coding. At a very young age. We're talking about like marginalized children who don't have access or means to these types of these type of areas or these types of these types of programs or tools or whatever may have you, to understand it. To understand these types of things, because like what we're talking about during the break, these are the tools that we have to understand to be able to move, in the world, because of how the industry has changed so much. So we can have events like that and we work with businesses and corporations and companies when it comes to sponsorships, being able to give out little goodie bags of little something that they can take home with them and everything. But my thing is how is that we can give back? That I want us to be able to give back to people and be able to use our platform to be able to use our areas of love and like what we see here, how we can turn this into something conducive so young people be able to flourish in the most exceptional way and be able to go about their lives and be able to take something with them as well too, and how we can give back. So I'm looking at things like that, so this way we can be much more involved. Another thing real quick,
Go for it.
so by the time this episode comes out, this should already be out in the open. We have, as of this week, we have started a new nonprofit under B-Side, and it's a theater production. It's a theater company, and it's called Dreamscape Theater. And so Dreamscape Theater, moving forward, yes, yes, Dreamscape Theater moving forward is going to be it's what's going to take over from B-Side when it comes to live theater. You know how we have the Black History production every February? Dreamscape Theater is going to be what's going to be in its place in terms of the production company that's going to drive those productions, for the community. So we just started that this week. We're establishing a board of directors right now. We're getting everything finalized when it comes to the articles of incorporation, the taxes, all that good stuff and everything. But moving forward, though, that's going to be our new entity, our new nonprofit. And it's not going to be just limited to theater. Like I said, I wanted to do more with that when it comes to just lots of community involvement. So you'll be seeing, you and the rest of everyone that's watching at home as well too, you all will be seeing a lot when it comes to just us, whether it's from the Nerdium, Sipping and Tripping, Mentality, Buzz and Bizzle, and we have a new show coming up, but I'm gonna say that for later though. I'm gonna say that for another time.
Okay.
And the new show that's brewing as well too. Everyone's going to be able to see us out there, out in the wild, being involved, being a part of something, and we invite everyone watching to be a part of what we are trying to create here. Because it's not just going to be the digital space, like I said, it's going to be the physical space. We're going to be outside, and we invite everyone watching to be a part, because this whole entire B-Side family is not just us, it's you all too as well, because you all make this work for us and make sure that this continues to grow the way how it is. So there's a lot of exciting things happening, Liz, when it comes to the brand, when it comes to the Nerdium, when it comes to B-Side, when it comes to you. It's a lot of exciting things that are going to be going on. So I'm super stoked.
I am too, and that's amazing, that community factor, because it's not something that...
Just to interrupt you guys, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. The conversation's flowing so good. Liz, if you could pull your robe off the mic.
Oh. Okay, that better?
Scoot your mic down a little bit away from your remote. There were just a couple times when you shifted and it was kind of cutting in, but everything sounds awesome.
Nice.
Okay.
You guys can just pick right back up whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, good.
So yeah, so there's lots going to be like lots of community involvement and everything. So it's a lot going on, and we're gonna.
And
I'm excited for this.
that sounds perfect because kind of getting out there. I feel like the medium that I kind of really sit in is not just being a nerd and all of this. It's not just like a hobby. It's like a deep down person who I've always been since. Oh goodness, since Dragon Ball Z, back in like 99, right? 99,
Yeah.
98, watching it on Fox Kids, which
Yeah.
doesn't exist anymore. It's like a real root to who I am as a person. And growing up being a nerd wasn't the social norm. Mm-hmm. So growing up, I was bullied a lot because of how nerdy I am. And getting older and seeing it being more socially acceptable in regular media now, it's like such a bittersweet thing because I wish when I was 14, I had more musicians like Meg Thee Stallion who caters towards that anime side. But when I was growing up, I didn't. And I have one friend in particular who I lost due to bullying because of this.
Oh God.
Yeah. And I always wanted people to know, like, we should make each other feel safe in this space.
Yeah.
Whether it's anime, video games, wrestling, whether you like comic books or manga, I feel like we all should have a space here, regardless of like race or gender or things like that, because the media that we consume as nerds really doesn't separate those things, even when it comes to race. Like I'd be so happy when I finally see us inside of anime, because 20 years back, you didn't see us as much, but now you're starting to, and kind of getting kids to realize, like, you're not just a nerd, you actually have a sense of creativity that hasn't been tapped into just yet. And I always liked, because me and Matt, we have both done different things and works with like different outlets, or one of the bigger ones that has like that outreach more has been on the show quite a few times, and just kind of working to be a part of people's lives and realize, like, I am a Black woman, and I is not a character on the stage that I don't know except Cirque-Face.
Oh, Czarface. Yeah.
Czarface? Yeah. No clue. But I love him anyway because me and him are locked in all the time. And kind of making sure people realize, like, you have elders, which I'm calling myself an elder because I am an anime elder now, who kind of has been there, has made it out of that point, and can kind of tell you, like, just because someone doesn't like the fact that you don't look like them, it doesn't mean your story ends there.
Facts. And
I absolutely love to hear that there will be more out there in like a more charitable and activist sort of way. And I'm excited about that. That sounds sick. Nice.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you touched on that in terms of, young people, even older people, but starting with young people who look like us, young people who are of color, who look like us and are in these spaces. And now it's so much more acceptable to be a person of color in these spaces versus how it was years ago. Because you're absolutely right. That was such an anomaly to see someone who was Black, someone who was into, who was into anime, who was into comic books, who was into just like, the video games, but in a very nerdy, geeky sort of way and everything, like where, you had no shame about, like reading like Archie comics, or you had no shame about, being able to play with Battle Beasts. I know that's way before your time, but trust me on that one. but like someone who is just so ingrained into like what you mentioned, Dragon Ball Z as well too. You talk about like the late '90s where especially with like, you know, with a lot of young black culture, it was more dominant in the area of like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with like hip hop and things of that nature, but it was more dominant in like that, like we have to be, like black people have to be cool. Like the have to be have to hit this certain type of level of coolness that black culture deems to be acceptable. But when you color outside those lines, and when you went outside those lines, you went against that type of like that type of litmus, then people looked at you like, well, why are you like this? Like, why are you not like
as if it
everyone
was something,
else? Like,
it was that concept of whiteness in you.
Yeah,
if you
right,
step outside of that, and I was just
Yeah,
like, it has nothing to do. Because I used to get called an Oreo a lot.
Yeah,
and if you don't know what that means, it's when you're black on the outside, white on the inside.
Right.
And it is a sense of this wasn't but even though a lot of this is our culture, a lot of it comes from our culture, but we were never really accepted into it. And coming into these years now and seeing us more so, the girl Jasmine, she was an artist. One of her paintings are actually on the table too.
Oh yeah.
To see her as just like 23, and she's like, I want to make an anime company and I want to make videos.
Man, awesome.
And it's just like so heart touching, because it's almost like watching my younger self, but not with like the support and space from our community that I'm happy that they get now.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, how wonderful is that though? Like we really have made a lot of progress in these last like 20, 25 years from where we were before to where we are right now with like you see young people like you're talking about with Jasmine who look like us, even your daughter as well too, who look like us, who are very like, this is who I am. Like this is how I am. And now we live in the world where like it's like, that's who you are, you're loved. Come here, you know, you're loved. Like how, like there's so many places on Facebook, on X as well too, and also like, you know, in Twitch and everything, where, you know, you can go into these spaces and share black culture when it comes to like the arts, when it comes to like this nerd culture in general, and it's okay. And it's you find camaraderie within that. And that's what I'm saying, like, and that's why it ties in with what we're going to be doing moving forward so well, because we have something to offer. So if we're in the position to be able to have something that's offerable, you know, to the public, then it's like, why not take this opportunity and be able to really make something happen from that. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much fun, and I'm just like so excited that we're in the position to be able to really give back, you know. So it's gonna be a lot of fun though, for real. Also, y'all. In future episodes, 'cause we touched on this before on the phone. In future episodes, we're gonna be introducing a new segment. It's a new segment. We can't do it today because I didn't bring all the tools with me, but we're gonna make it happen in the next one. It's gonna be called Beat ET, or it's gonna be ET versus AI, depending on, like, you know, the whole thing. So what it is, we're gonna hook up a Super Nintendo.
Oh God, a Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Wait. Why are you stuffing Super Nintendo? SNES is look, I'm sorry. SNES is the greatest video game system ever made.
Debatable. I think it's the Sega Genesis.
Oh no!
It's probably the Sega Genesis. Yeah.
Oh.
The NES is just historic. It paved the way for a lot. But the greatest system to ever come out is like Sega Genesis, and then shortly after that, the original Xbox. But that's just, what do I know?
See, we would have been boxing had this been back in the day. Because real talk, I used to go to war every day with kids back in the day when it came to the argument of what was better with SNES or Sega Genesis. I remember I got to a point where I hated the sight of that logo. I just hated looking at that logo. Genesis was great system. It was a fun system, and I will give Genesis the advantage when it came to WWF Royal Rumble. I loved Royal Rumble on Genesis versus Super Nintendo. But I'm such, as you can see, I'm such a Mario nut that like I had a loyalty to Nintendo. And so when the SNES came out, because Genesis was out before SNES.
It came out first.
Mm-hmm. But when the SNES came out, it seriously, it was like the heavens opened up and the angel came down for us NES heads, and it was fun. We were like, we finally have something.
But you know what? I can genuinely say, when it comes to Nintendo in general, because the first Mario game I think I actually played was Sunshine, and that was that was the first to completion. Like I would play like Mario 1 and 2, but it was like casually at my cousin's house. Like it didn't spark my interest. Mario Sunshine, which I can't think, what was that, like 2003 or something like that? That was the first time that I had actually played a Mario game and I liked it. What system was that been the GameCube?
I want to say that was GameCube, yeah.
Because GameCube, that was my baby. I love my GameCube. Mine was a purple square too. Yeah. I used to love it. I wrote my name on top of it. And I remember that being my first, honestly, that was my first time playing Star Fox too.
Ooh!
Star Fox.
Talk about it.
And then that's when I had played Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
Initially came out for the GameCube. I mean, you can play it everywhere now and they remastered it, but I was dying to get a GameCube specifically to play Resident Evil 4. But also, this was so many years ago because I've always loved Zelda games.
Yes.
The first Zelda I played was Ocarina of Time.
Yeah? Yeah.
That was the first one, and then I played Majora's
Mask. That was in the 64,
Mask.
right?
That was.
Yeah.
Then after that, it was Majora's Mask, and then honestly, I think I jumped to Twilight Princess from there.
Okay, I never touched that one.
That one, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah?
Favorite Zelda game.
Wow.
So.
See, A Link to the Past, that for the SNES, that literally was like my drug. Like I was addicted to that game. I remember vividly running home after school so I can continue playing that game. Like that was a drug to me. I absolutely love that game, and like the payoff when you beat that game, for anyone who remembers, the payoff was just so worth it. It was like, you know how like with some games like you beat the game and it's just like one screen that says congratulations, good job, and you save the world, and that's it. But Link to the Past gave you. They gave you closing credits. They gave you a whole parade. They gave you a whole soundtrack. I mean, it was like you felt so accomplished, and I appreciated that about Link.
And that's what Zelda is. I don't meet too many people because even now, I have 2 Legend of Zelda games. Lord knows I can't remember the name of them, but I like because Zelda was like my first open world game too.
Yeah,
that wasn't always before, because I guess GTA was always open world, but to the extent that it was an Ocarina of Time, and you had the horse, and it was like the different kingdoms you can go to, and Zelda, and that was like one of the most artistically beautiful games I have ever seen. So that was nice. It was so good catching up with you and everything today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I started everything off, I'm just so glad to have you, that you're back, that we're back together on this whole thing.
Same.
And it's going to be a wonderful ride. So appreciate you so much.
No problem. Well, thank you all for sticking around. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Are you someone that is deep into nerd culture? Are you into anime? Are you an animator? Do you draw or write for comics? Are you a pro wrestler? Are you a pro gamer? Do you do cool stuff that fits within this genre that people should know about? If so, we would love to have you as a guest on the Nerdium. Contact either Elizabeth Tompkins or Maurice D. Proffit and ask how you can be a guest on the Nerdium.
And welcome back to the Nerdium, everybody. It has been a wonderful show. I'm so glad to be back, see everybody, talk to everybody, and you guys are going to see us more often. If you stuck around and saw the interview with Maurice, it's so much more that's coming up. so much more that we're going to be doing. You guys are going to start seeing us in a while like we're Pokemon. Don't catch me. I'm uncatchable. We are so excited about everything that we're going to be doing. Hopefully I get to see a lot of you all throughout the entire year at different events. I'm very approachable sometimes. I want to talk to everybody, see everybody. I'm so happy to be back. I'm shaking off all the rust, and I am so happy to be here. You guys can catch us on the next episode of the Nerdium, your favorite playground. Until then, you guys keep it safe.